This hour now, leaders of the EFF, including party leader Julius Malema, are expected to attend a mass funeral service in Vryheid for the 8 of the 10 party members who were killed in a horror crash. This happened on Monday night. These are live visuals coming in now for you. Now, the remaining 2 party members will be buried in a private funeral service. The victims were passengers in a bus which was involved in a collision with a truck on the R34 near Ulundi in northern KwaZulu-Natal. Now, the victims were members of the EFF who were returning from a June 16th Youth Day rally. This happened in Durban. Now, at least 30 passengers were injured. The victims are expected to be laid to rest at their family homes. This happens after the service. And a bit earlier on, we did speak to our Mlondi, who gave us a bit of a scene setter there ahead of the proceedings that are just about to begin. As we saw earlier on as well, a guard of honor being formed there for these members as we see their mortal remains make their way into the venue where the funeral service is expected to take place. And Mlondi did say that EFF leadership is, of course, expected to also attend this service. We can see there some of those mortal remains being brought into the venue. Let's touch base now with Mlondi. Mlondi, we can see now some of the mortal remains making their way into the venue where the service is expected to take place. Talk us through some of these visuals. It's rather a somber moment that we're witnessing now.
Thank you very much, Mpolisi. We are still here in this funeral service here in Vryheid. It's quite a somber mood to the mourners. The families are also coming in, as you could see that they just pulling the coffin out of a hearse to try and put it inside the marquee. The marquee is almost full as we speak to you, police, because already they've put it inside 4 bodies, one of Amahle Mbata and Lunga Sunday Mbata, also Florence Ntombi Ndlovu, as well as Walisile SABC. They already basically put them inside the marquee, as well as the families are seated inside the marquee. Also in this amongst the mourners, there's a Deputy Minister of Transport, Mkhuleko Hlengwa, the MEC of Transport in KwaZulu-Natal, Siboniso Duma, and other religious leaders from different denominations, as well as the politicians that have also come to bid their farewell to the fallen heroes and heroines of the EFF in this part of the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Police would remember that last week on Monday they gathered at the King Zwelithini Stadium to celebrate the Youth Day in that stadium. After that rally, they drove back to Vryheid. On their way back to home, they were involved in a bus and truck accident on the R34 between Ulundi as well as Vryheid. That's where the accident happened on Monday night, during the early hours of Tuesday, if I could say that in policy. So for now, and then the families, they had to deal with that matter of going to the F morgue to identify their loved ones. Also, over 40 passengers were taken to hospital. We were told that some of them, about 39 of them, were discharged on the day, and others are still at the hospital, as well as both drivers were basically taken to hospital. We were told by the EFF that also the bus driver lost his son during that accident, and the bus driver is still in hospital. The Department of Transport was also investigating the matter in relation to what caused the accident, but what was mentioned earlier on during that time, it was that driving on that stretch of road is dark and there are no lights at night, so that might be one of the causes also, and that one of the drivers maybe was trying to overtake in that bend, and that is why they ended up with this accident. But we'll wait and hear from the Department of Transport as well as the SABC to try and brief us in relation to the cause of that accident, or if they can just give us the preliminary report in relation to what happened on that fateful night when the supporters were traveling back home from Umlazi. Polisi, I think you could see in your visuals that the families are just coming inside the hall, basically the marquee with the coffin, and at this point in time this coffin has not yet been identified as to who is this family member or who is this EFF supporter that has also fallen. But you remember that we are also going to be hearing the speeches from the party president Julius Malema, as well as the families, just to hear about these individuals that have passed away. Also, you remember that Mkolisi, the survivor, will speak to this funeral. Lindezwe Zungu will also speak to this funeral, to paint a picture of what happened on that fateful night, as well as how maybe she or he survived this horrific crash. But Mkolisi, for now, back to you in studio, because you could see that we're still putting more bodies inside the marquee. The last body that was pulled inside the marquee is Sponiso Manuele, who is also an economic freedom fighter that was basically attended at the event in Umlazi on that fateful night. Back to you, Mkolisi, for now.
Mlondi, I'm going to ask that we stay on you just a bit longer to observe this moment, because it's also quite important, because I'm also taken aback to our conversation a bit earlier on. I mean, this must be really devastating for the family and the family members as well. You know, when you say that one of the victims was actually quite young. Most of the victims were young. I mean, you said one of the victims was 17 and was still in high school. So clearly this must be a blow for these families.
This is very sad to the families of these EFF supporters, because you remember that I mentioned that Amahle Mbata is just 17 years old and was doing grade 11 at the time when she died on this fateful accident. She was the learner at Ebakulusini Secondary School, where she was doing grade 11. And when we spoke to the family on Tuesday, they mentioned that she wanted to be a police officer. She was someone that always wanted to fight for the community and wanted to make sure that she assist her family to come out of poverty, because she believed that she was one of the family members that was going to make her family live better. And also Ntombi Ndlovu, it seems as if they were both friends, and with Sibongakonke Mbata, who's also Amahle Mbata, they were friends. They were basically forward with they wanted to be in the structures of the EFF locally in the Vryheid area where they're coming from, but they believed in recruiting other members to be part of this party. You remember that the oldest person amongst the 10 that died is just 46, of which it shows that it was just a youthful event that they went to, even though there were some older individuals in that bus, but they tried to maintain that because when we spoke to some of the passengers, they told us that it was they not sure how this accident happened because they were all coming back from that gathering at the rally. This is the last, and this is the last coffin that is going to be coming in, because this will be the 7th body that is going to be put inside the marquee. You remember that we were told that some family members, about 3, they said they want to have private funerals, but they are also having those funerals today. One of the victims, it seems as if, is from outside the country, but the EFF, we're still waiting for the EFF to confirm that in relation to one of the member that also died during that bus accident. And policy, back to you in studio.
And Mlondi, what is expected to happen straight after the last, coffin is taken into the venue? I assume that proceedings will officially get underway, as we also understand that EFF leader Julius Malema is also expected to address the mourners there.
Yes, in policy, they will have a short program where the provincial chairperson Mongezi Twala will welcome the guests, and also the family representatives will address the gathering. They will start with the Mbata family, Zulu family, Radebe, Mbata family also for Lungani, as well as Kumalo family from Ayanda, Kumalo, SABC family from Gwabisile, and also Manqele family from Siboniso Manqele, Mashazi family from Thokozani Mashazi. So those are the basically the program is not that long. It's a short program, and then we'll go to a survivor, Lindizwe Zungu, and then the keynote address will be the president of the party, Julius Malema. And then after that, the pastor will address the congregation.
Utter devastation that we see there, Mlondi, I must say, with some of the family members as well assisting in the ushering of the mortal remains of those members as they come in there. And we also saw some, party members as well, senior party members such as the Secretary General of the party as well, assisting some of the families and ushering them in. So we've seen now the last, coffin being taken into the venue, and it seems like it will be all systems go. But thank you so much for that, Mlondi Radebe, watching developments there for us. We'll come back to you as and when that story continues to develop.